In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern. There is plenty of storms on the horizon, including multiple rounds of potential severe weather, multiple tropical cyclones that we need to track, and also a massive heat wave that is potentially on the way for next week. Now, for those of you that watch very, very regularly, you would know that I do upload every single day. Typically, I've missed 2 in a row before today. The reason being is I've had a terrible cold. You could probably still hear it in my voice right now. I have gotten a lot better. I had a terrible, terrible sore throat. Now it's kind of just this like stuffiness, which is manageable because the sore throat is extremely painful and hard to talk. So I just, I wasn't in a good position to make videos, and I still probably am not in the best position to make videos, but I'm too eager to talk about all of these recent developments, especially the tropics and this potential heat wave. So let's just dive into things. First off, we're tracking this European model run here through the upcoming couple of days here. We do have a lot of storminess for the Gulf and then offshore of the East Coast. So we're watching mostly near the Yucatan Peninsula here. And then we see this low here offshore of North Carolina. Both of them have been indicated by the National Hurricane Center to have some chance and some probability of developing. So we will take a look at that in a little bit. I think that's one of the bigger things going on today in this particular model run. But really for tomorrow, there's a lot of activity throughout the Four Corner states, up the Rockies and Plains here. And then also for a lot of the Ohio Valley into the Northeast here, also we're seeing a lot of these storms. Now, as we head towards Saturday here on June 15th, we see that across the Northwest, we are seeing more and more storms move onshore. We're still seeing some potential snowfall here throughout the Cascades, keep in mind. We also have a 994 over northern Wyoming. And this is all going to lead towards some overall storminess from the northwest coast here all the way into the northern plains. We even have some thunderstorms firing up here for some of the plains and the upper Midwest. So we're going to be watching for potential thunderstorms and severe weather in this area. We do see that our initial potential tropical cyclone is now moving offshore of the Northeast, rapidly kind of losing intensity as it moves up into those northern cold waters, of course. But the main area to watch after this is going to be this pocket in the southern Gulf of Mexico. This is an area that certainly has a pretty decent shot at seeing some development. So we're going to watch this over the coming days. Here's as we approach Sunday here on June 16th, and what we see is, again, the entire Gulf still seeing a lot of this tropical moisture churn up for these areas, and this is going to be something to really, really watch here over the coming days. We do see the Northwest dealing with some snowfall and rainfall respectively, and then for the upper Midwest and portions of the Great Lakes, we are continuing to see some thunderstorms and showers developing throughout this area. Now, let's keep going. I'm going to take us towards Monday on June 17th, and what we see is a 986 here over Wyoming, and believe it or not, a pretty substantial pocket of potential snowfall here for Idaho and Montana. Very heavy at that. We're going to take this with a grain of salt as this is by June 17th, and this is a substantial amount of snowfall for really most times of year, but especially this time of year. I mean, this is definitely late into the summer to be seeing some potential snowfall in there. We do see 1,001 here across the upper Midwest as well. So overall, from the Northwest coast all the way through the Great Lakes, we're seeing quite a bit of precipitation, both in the forms of rainfall, snowfall, and thunderstorms. A lot of this Gulf energy is also beginning to move into these Gulf states and even into portions of kind of the Ohio Valley and Midwest here. We're seeing this push of humidity, warmth, and overall thunderstorms and showers coming off the Gulf. Could be a pretty intense wave of storms for the early portion of next week. Let's take this towards Tuesday the 18th here. And what we're seeing is, again, overall pockets of showers, snowfall, and thunderstorms along these lines. We have a 998 here over Minnesota with a classic warm front, cold front look. And then we have just kind of the lingering storminess in the Northwest. Your jet stream is very extreme by this point. A very, very extreme heat wave is going to be starting up here for the East. We're dealing with potential temperatures over 100 degrees in the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, Ohio Valley. So a very substantial early summertime heat wave is on the way. And, anytime you're talking about 90 plus, we're talking about potentially life-threatening heat. but especially when you're talking over 100, that's just very extreme numbers. The most extreme part of it is going to be the longevity. So we're watching for potential long-term heat, I would say. Let's keep going towards Wednesday. Again, this is day 2 of that pretty substantial heat. We see this tropical cyclone developing in the southern Gulf. So again, potential tropical cyclone number 2 of June, which is very, very extreme to say the least. And outside of that system, look at all the moisture to deal with down here. Extremely abnormal is what I would title this as. Really no other way around it. Just unheard of weather that we're seeing as we begin this unprecedented hurricane season that we've been calling for months and months and months. And it is already starting up as predicted. This should surprise nobody if you've been keeping up with the videos, especially regarding the tropics. We do have a line of thunderstorms from the plains here and the upper Midwest, really dealing with some stronger thunderstorms in this area by this Wednesday, June 19th date. Let's take it towards Thursday, the 20th. And again, we're dealing with severe heat still in the east for day 3, which would officially mark it as a heat wave, as 3 days in a row is what you need. We see that there is thunderstorms throughout the east, or better yet, the southern Rockies, the southern plains, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes here, and then portions of eastern Canada. We have just this line of thunderstorms and still just tons of tropical moisture leading towards humidity, overall showers, and thunderstorms throughout all of these areas. Here's by Friday on June 21st, what we're seeing is large areas of thunderstorms both around the Gulf, and then again, these kind of mid-plains into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and up into the Northeast areas. Let's take this towards Saturday, the 22nd, which will be the final day of this model run. And again, we're left with more tropical moisture still around, so likely more tropical cyclones to come, and still thunderstorms throughout these plains, Midwest, and Northeast areas. Now, the total precipitation here, we can see that there is a lot of it expected, especially in the plains in the upper Midwest, and then along the Gulf Coast here in these Gulf areas where we're expecting tropics to be on the rise. But there's a clear lull in activity, and I'm going to mark exactly where that area is that we're watching, but it's going to be from the southern plains and then up the east coast here. So especially areas like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, the kind of northern portions of the Gulf states, some of the southern Ohio Valley like Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina here, Pennsylvania, the mid-Atlantic in general. We're seeing less activity than what is typical, so below average activity for these areas, mostly seeing kind of the north central states and then right along the Gulf with the above average activity there. Here's the temperature pattern, and again, moving towards the heat wave next week. Here's Monday on the 17th, already seeing substantially hot temperatures compared to what's typical here for Monday on the 17th. Here's Tuesday on the 18th, so day 2 of it. Here's Wednesday on the 18th, day 3, still seeing very substantial heat throughout this area in particular. Here's Thursday on the 20th, and again, very substantial heat for these pockets of the nation. Here's Friday, still seeing some pretty severe heat. Saturday, same story. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I would say the only thing here is that by later on that week and into the next one, we do see it take aim more at the southeast, and we actually see a lot of these northeast areas cooling off by this kind of 2 weeks from now period. This is going to be Tuesday the 25th. So we see finally below average temperatures cooling things off, but the southeast still dealing with this heat wave with, again, 90 plus temperatures for days and days and days on end. Eventually they all kind of cool down, but the interesting thing here is we have warmth back on the way for the east as we're reaching the end of June into the beginning of July timeframe. So we're going to be watching that very, very closely. Let's dive into the National Hurricane Center outlooks here, and we do have a 20% chance of development offshore of the southeast here over the next 48 hours from the time I am making this video. So not the highest odds in the world, but definitely for the time of year, it is crazy to be seeing all of this activity here. Looks pretty well developed there on satellite as well. But as we take a look at the 7-day outlook, we see that this one still has a 20% chance of development, but our other area in the southern Gulf has a 0% over the next 48 hours, but a 40% chance over the next 7 days, which is going to be in kind of like a moderate tier chance of development. So certainly a little bit higher there on that southern system. Could potentially get our first named system out of either of these. but odds are one or the other will end up developing. Definitely very, very interesting stuff here. Anyway, be sure to keep tuned in with the videos. We're going to be talking about the tropics, the heat waves, all of it throughout the summertime. And I will be feeling better, thankfully, because I feel just very, very terrible right now, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to making more videos for you guys to enjoy. So be sure to subscribe for those videos. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.